Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 732 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am, of course, joined today in Pretend Low Earth Orbit by Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
And Chris DeBona.
Hi.
Gentlemen, how was your 4th of July?
No
It's
comment.
small town 4th of July, you know, little parade. No one got shot at my parade.
Oh, that's
I don't know
nice.
about y'all's, I mean, America.
Yeah, America, man.
Can't freaking believe it. But
Someone
you
in
can't
the
believe
neighborhood
it?
next to me.
no, I could tell
Someone in the neighborhood next to me burned down their house with Roman candles. So
Really?
there's
Was
that.
it Jeff?
Yeah. It was not Jeff, strangely enough.
That's weird.
Yeah, right.
Normally we rely on him for routine, like just regular burning down of structures.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. The first thing we had on the list is the Fallout series has announced casting with Paul Atreides gonna star in the Fallout TV show.
That's very exciting.
Kyle
Which
MacLachlan.
Paul?
Kyle
Oh,
MacLachlan, not the current one. What is it? Timothy Chalamet. He's so cute.
Yeah, so
He's dreamy.
they're putting Kyle MacLachlan. They're putting, oh gosh, there's so many things going on this page. They've got Walter Goggins, who's great.
Gaggins.
I love Walter Goggins. He can do no wrong.
Is he in I have to look him up now. I think he's the one that's in Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, I'm sure he is. I mean, it's almost custom made for him. I'll bring up a picture of him.
Who is playing Laura Palmer in this?
Yeah, that's Goggins. That
That's
guy's
Goggins.
awesome.
He's amazing. I watched Justified like everybody else, and I'm just like, this is such a great show, you know. And he made it. He made it work.
Oh,
And Kyle,
I'm trying to see if we got a release date on this show.
probably not 2024.
I don't know. I feel like they're going really fast with this stuff now.
That's true.
Because isn't Sandman supposed to be out in like August or September?
No, like next month.
Oh.
Yeah. So
like
next month,
August or September.
August, September. Yeah.
Well, all right. Next up on the list, we got Putin is thinking that people are body shaming him.
What? No, he's
No,
body shaming
Putin.
others.
Yeah.
Come on, this is Putin
Yeah.
we're talking about. You
He's-
think he cares how people think about him? He's trying
the
to
bad
manipulate
guy
people.
here.
He's the bad guy.
Oh,
There you go.
He's saying Western leaders have dad bods, not like him, because they don't do sports and they drink alcohol excessively.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that seems ideal. I mean,
Check
if you're
that.
going to make it to 75, I'd want to do nothing but sit and drink alcohol.
This jackass.
I don't know. I mean, this picture's got to be like, what, 20 years old?
Let's see.
2009. All right, so 13 years.
2009.
He doesn't
He's
look
gotten
even...
a little more droopy.
He doesn't look anything like that anymore. In fact, now he looks...
Personally, I think his best look was either when he was swimming behind the canoe, there's a shot like that, or when he's in his judo gi and he is wrestling a leopard. I think those are his two best looks. The horse thing I was never a fan of. But
I always... do you remember in The Office when Dwight Schrute was like doing karate, but he
There we
did it in a kid's dojo? I always like to think that Putin goes to a kid's dojo and just beats up kids. At least he's doing the
Yeah, it's funny. He always wins every
race.
Every race he goes into, every fight he gets into in his karate.
Right? And it's weird because usually the second place finisher dies of radiation poisoning.
Yeah, go figure. It's so weird.
It's weird.
In fact, they're poisoned before they get a chance to fight, so they're kind of like
there's something in the water. There's something radioactive that accidentally gets in their mouth. Some sort of isotope.
You know what it is?
Well,
if you think, you know what, Putin may not be the right choice for Russia, there's something in the water that your body is irritated by your feelings. because your body is telling you, listen, you should be more into Putin. And since you're not,
Yeah.
I'm going to nuke you.
I mean,
that's
though,
how
if
much
you're
Putin is loved by the electorate.
if
He's
you're a
not poisoning
Jodoku,
anybody. They're poisoning themselves, Rob.
if you're a Jodoku and you're fighting with him, and you go to hip toss him, I bet you hesitate for a second and think,
Sure
maybe
do.
this isn't the best idea.
Rob, your polonium shots are in the mail. You could just take your polonium shot. It's the patriotic thing to do.
Well, you know what? Let me bring up a story. So there's a band called Little Big, and apparently back in March they fled Russia, and now they're doing all their things out of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you haven't seen Little Big's videos, do so. It's amazing.
Do you think if we combine them with Pussy Riot, they'll form sort of giant robot that will free Russia?
I don't think Pussy Riot fled, did they? Or did they flee Russia?
I sure hope so.
Well, I think that they were in jail.
Yeah. Well, that's the sort of thing that you ask, where is Pussy Riot?
And then be very careful about what you click on.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay. It says they escaped from Russia.
Oh, they have escaped back in May. Okay. Cool.
Well, good on them, I guess. Let's see. Next up on the list, this is a weird one. I think, Rob, you picked this one. This is School's Out Forever. Arizona is moving to kill public education with a voucher law.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, we come from the land where this began, really.
Yep.
With Miss DeVos and all of her super great ideas. So basically, what this program is, and I certainly have had some teachers in public school that had no business being teachers whatsoever. Absolutely 100%.
Sure.
But this program, from what I'm reading, is basically like, here's $7,000. You can use it to help send your kids to private school, to religious schools, which, that $7,000 will cover a few weeks maybe. Or you can use it for home, and to help you get up to speed, to give your kid the education he needs, and to get materials and stuff. I assume they have some sort of accreditation council or board that makes sure that the tests you hand them prove that you're actually teaching your child whatever it is they're supposed to be taught. But we both know that's bullshit. So basically,
wait, you're saying
so basically they're handing out people in Arizona $7,000. So if you're,
per child,
I'm not saying I'm not saying all homeschoolers are nutters, but there's definitely a good proportion of nutters in that group. And now they're basically just handing $7,000 so you can teach them about how we don't know if Jesus rode dinosaurs, but he probably
did.
So if you're like one of these quiverful families with like 8 children, so you're going to get a check for $56,000 a year to educate your children in a way consistent with your beliefs.
So when I was a kid, I went to a religious school, and this was even in the 80s. I remember this being a topic of occasional discussion, like, how dare we have to pay taxes so that those garbage West Ottawa kids, they wouldn't say that, but they would like, why do we have to pay taxes even though we don't get any because our kids go to the other school, not like West Ottawa.
We have to pay extra to send our kids to the right kind of school. Oh no.
Yeah.
This is very common. So
yeah, I tend to think I probably got a better education than average, but I also don't think that, like, I think that's insane. Like, of course you have to pay the taxes just because you didn't choose to send your kids there. Because A cornerstone of democracy is an informed electorate, and that starts with school. Until we decided that the schools could decide to just not teach things that they disagreed with, at which point, what's the point of even having a country anymore?
An informed electorate is the enemy of the current government.
Yeah.
And our public school wasn't terrible. I mean, we had 0-hour classes, we had AP classes. So, as far as public education goes, West Ottawa wasn't too bad.
No, I always thought it was
like you fancy kids at Holland Christian.
Oh yeah, we were super fancy.
I just know you didn't have a football team.
We did not have a football team, and also we had chapel.
Yeah,
like let's go and pray every morning, or like 4 mornings a week.
Team, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like this really makes me frustrated because like we're fracturing our country, like on purpose.
And if the purpose is to actually educate the children, obviously this is not going to do it, right? This is all you're doing is indoctrinating kids even further.
Well, that's the point. The point is the indoctrination. And
I get this. This isn't designed to actually educate people.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna point out the one thing. What about the separation of church and state enshrined in the Constitution? Is that just not a thing anymore?
Oh no, it's not. Didn't you see all the Supreme Court cases lately?
It's more of a guideline than a rule.
It's bad time to be an atheist.
Well, I mean, yeah, America's not supposed to be a theocracy.
I mean, we think that, but there are several judges on the Supreme Court that have decided otherwise.
Well, I'm waiting for them to start feeding on each other. The Catholics feeding on the Christians, feeding on the Baptists, feeding on the Lutherans, feeding on the Calvinists. It's like
it's crazy because, like, I remember
no one would expect the Supreme Court Inquisition. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, Amazon has announced that they are spending $465 million on one season of their Lord of the Rings show, and the one thing that I'll say is that it looks like they're making prosthetics for the orcs.
So it's live action practical orcs.
Yeah. So that encourages me.
Yeah, maybe they're just getting the old Klingon appliances and just applying it to them and just saying, okay, you're orcs now.
You buy the molds.
As long as they don't use the design from Discovery for the Klingons, I'd be fine with that.
That's more orky though,
The plastic-looking Discovery Klingons, I was not a fan of. Right?
Yeah. Did you watch last week's Brave New World? I'm sorry,
I have not
Strange
caught
New
up,
Worlds?
but you can talk about it. This was the holodeck episode?
No, this was the Aliens tribute.
Oh, I haven't seen
Oh yeah, I'm caught up on everything.
Yeah, they did like the last week's episode was like a straight up love letter to aliens. Like they had a newt analog. They had instead of acid spit, they had like that was part of their breeding mechanism. It was lovely.
It's okay. I'm a little sick of them using the Gorn, especially for as cheesy as the first introduction of them was fighting Kirk.
But I mean, this goes back to the same thing that we've talked about before, which is they talk about this on Red Letter Media a lot of times. When you do the reboot, you have to pick the 5 things that the average person remembers. And the Gorn is probably, once you get past Klingons and Vulcans, the Gorn might be the only thing left that the average person remembers, just because you've seen that clip of Kirk fighting the Gorn.
But the reason you've seen that clip is because it's so stupid.
For sure.
Right. So if you're gonna choose iconic things, it's harder to choose one that's stupid and try to not make it stupid.
But it's not that even that it's iconic. It's that if you get a focus group panel of 10 randos, a few of them remember, I remember something about the Gorn. So that
wasn't Kirk making out with some green alien?
Always. I in this case, I think the green alien might be making out with him.
Well, It may not be consensual.
That's true.
Yeah, so in retrospect, it's amazing Kirk did so well, this being a full-grown one, because in the episode that we watch, you find that babies can smash through doors, smash through glass that can withstand the meteorite strikes
Yep.
in space. They're virtually indestructible,
Gorn
and
smash!
it's like 2 feet tall.
And they chest
so
burst straight up like
Yeah.
aliens, exactly the same way.
Huh.
Yeah.
That-
Except
that's
multiple
new to
of
canon.
them.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty cool. But
It's like he's saying to you, "What? You think I can't break some dumb window?"
never mind the fact that I'm looking at you through the holes in my nostrils. Or what do you think? I think it's the eye flaps there that he's looking through.
Or through the mouth directly.
Uh.
No, that'd be a little too hard. Yeah, maybe nose, or maybe those. Maybe the
probably
bags under his eyes.
probably knows. I'm just trying to picture where his head is in that, probably, because the shoulders have to kind of match up.
Are the shoulders rubber or is that muscle? I can't tell.
That's
Seriously?
rubber
That's
here.
rubber.
I mean, that could be an eye hole there, but I hate to say it. The acting was such that it's like he could see everything.
He saw everything he needed to see.
It's got to be. What do you think? Nose? But,
Well, let's see here. No, I actually really enjoyed last week's episode because it's, again, they're doing what I want them to do. They're having standalone episodes. It had threads connecting to previous things. Particularly, they've mentioned the Gorn in like 3 different episodes, but that was just because they gave that as one character's backstory. It was that she was a survivor of a Gorn massacre. But like, you could watch that episode and, or skip it, probably fine. You can skip the Ren Fair Island episode, probably fine.
Yeah, that was the one that I was stuck on.
I love
It's
that
exactly
episode.
the kind of episode that I hate.
That's fair.
They're all going to dress up in their dumb outfits. They're either going to have some adventure on the holodeck or on some primitive planet who's decided to eschew technology.
I'm generally
Voss
with you.
Island. I don't want to Voss Island episodes, right?
I'm generally with you, but I liked that one until the end. The end was very strange.
Was it a homeschooled planet, or
Well, they aged the guy's daughter weirdly.
Oh,
and
Dr. Mabenga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's something that he allows his daughter to do, which makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. But anyway.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. But like I'm all in on this show. This has been my favorite Star Trek in 25 years.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I'll watch it. Probably on the flight.
Chris, you watch Only Murders in the Building, right?
Yeah, I do.
Because they got their new season out now.
It's a little slow to start, but it's good.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it, but it's it's a slow show. So I think I skipped over Wet Wipe Island, and I'm feeling a little bit bad for that because that was a Rob story.
Yeah, how could you skip over that? I just love stories about like the giant fatbergs in sewer systems, the gigantic plastic island in the middle of the Pacific. Yeah, so here in in this river, they evidently have a mat of wet wipes that have condensed into a
new island
size, about the size of 2 tennis courts, and it's blocked the river and changed its flow. And of course, as we all know, when you're referring to wet wipe islands, you measure them in tennis courts. That's the official unit.
That's the law
of wet wipe islands in tennis courts, right?
The unit of measure.
Yeah, fatbergs are usually measured in sizes of cars or in raw tonnage. Wet wipe islands are in tennis courts.
Yeah, it's just it's the rules. We don't make the rules. We just follow.
When you get to like full-sized ocean garbage patch, you have to measure those in terms of Rhode Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is the stuff that you learn when you go to journalism school.
Yeah.
They teach you that.
J school.
J school. That's actually the other thing they teach you is that it's not journalism school, it's J school. That's like a sophomore class.
So is this like a water treatment plant, and it's just like pooping out wet wipes that clog it up, or is it just a sewer overflow? It's probably combined sewer overflow.
Yeah, I would
You know,
assume
the
that
rain builds up, it does a bit of
if
overflow. Don't swim in
that's
the Thames today. Yeah.
if that's where the wet wipes were coming out of, they would have built some sort of screen trap to grab most of them. But then I also think, well, wherever they're coming from, wouldn't they have done that there too? So
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's probably so when there's a lot of rain that overwhelms the sewers, the rain sewers, they'll often overflow into the sewers,
Yeah.
and so you'll have a combination of
So
effluent and
so when I still thought I was going to get a degree in biology, uh, like one of the first things they said that I would be able to do is work at a water treatment plant and
cool.
basically measure bacteria loads and stuff like that. So we did a little tour of one of those plants, and by the time, there's a lot of downsides to working at a poop facility.
Poopatorium.
I can think of one.
Yeah, well, actually, you'd be surprised. The thing that
I can think of number 2.
Oh,
snap. The thing that really turned me off to it more than anything was the screening area, because they had the guy whose literally job was to shovel out all the used condoms, all the feminine hygiene products, all the toys, all
the hands, the feet.
just all the globs of hair,
Ugh.
every single horrible thing that couldn't be boiled and disinfected properly had to be shoveled out on these giant screens they bring them through. And you have to do it a lot because the water or the sewage backs up if you don't. So I was like,
Ugh.
yeah, a hard pass for Rob. Thank you very much.
You know what's weird to me, and I've seen this. So I was raised in a house that did not have a garbage disposal. And so even to this day, like, I'm uncomfortable using garbage disposals because I'm like, you can't, like, my parents were always so paranoid, you can't flush that. Like, that was like a big
Were you
thing.
on septic as a kid too?
We weren't. We were on, but for whatever reason, it was a big deal in my house that you don't flush stuff or you don't send things down the sinks. And I carry that with me today. The idea of even flushing a wet wipe, like, I can't imagine flushing wet wipes. We threw them away. Like, we had garbage cans generally. Like, sometimes you'd have to, but as a general rule, that kind of stuff went in the garbage can. It wouldn't even cross my mind to want to send that through the plumbing. I guess when I had kids that were that age too, we were on a septic, so I wouldn't want to do that. Are you adjusting the size of your window based on the live stream?
I didn't mean to.
It doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm always weirded out by what people think is okay to flush. But then you watch like the Dirty Jobs with the micro.
Yeah.
And like you're like, no, people just flush everything. They don't care.
They flush everything.
They flush everything. It's weird to me. So Large Hadron Collider has discovered 3 new exotic particles. Which
a tetra quark and a penta quark.
I kind of love that all the Hadron Collider does now is just discover smaller and smaller particles. That's just kind of great.
Yeah.
We're never going to figure
exotic
this out.
hadrons.
We're never going to figure it out.
Pentaquark made of a charm quark and a charm antiquark and an up, a down, and a strange quark together.
They can't figure out why physics is confusing to the layman.
It's the first. Come on, Rob. It's the first pentaquark that you found to contain a strange quark.
That's so much better. That's so much better than charmed quarks.
Well, no, it's got that too. But...
Oh, and the anti-quarks, the charmed anti-quarks.
No, it's got an anti-charm quark.
An up charmed anti-quark.
You know, if it's a charming quark, this is the opposite. It's something that repels you. So.
I hate to break it to you, but luckily my parents got $7,000 to improve my education and taught me that these quarks don't exist. So
right,
yeah, because
they're
there to test your faith.
Yeah, I can go ahead and skip this fake news and not worry about it.
Right. They base all of their science on our understanding from the era of the signing of the Constitution. So there are no cells, there are no viruses. There nothing smaller than that.
Yeah.
I'm
still not exactly sure that surgeons should wash their hands before they perform surgery,
right.
but I'm willing to bend on that one.
Big on humors, big on phrenology. That's the future we're looking for, guys.
So, okay.
Just cherry pick the new.
I have a question.
The science you believe.
So going back to Arizona.
Okay.
There's 1.1 million K through 12 students in Arizona.
Yeah.
And their budget appears to be $372 million a year. Where are they going to find, and maybe this is a problem because I had a traditional education, where are they going to find the $8 billion?
Chris, you're doing math. You're doing math. Don't math.
I'm doing math.
That's the first thing that they don't teach you.
I'm sure.
So, well,
some part of it
budget wrong.
I think that sounds wrong, but
some part of it must be.
More, yeah.
Some part of this must be sort of like the IRS and sort of rebate strategy where the
Department of Education's gonna be like, no.
If they make the paperwork so hard, there's just going to be a certain number of people who don't do those things, so they don't have to send them $7,000. So we figure they figured those people in, and what is that? Maybe 20% of the people just won't do it, maybe more.
Well, way more than that won't do it because, like a lot of people, they need the schools to babysit.
Yes.
So,
and I think that's the thing.
Sorry. It is a much larger budget. It's like
So I guess maybe math wasn't one of the things they taught at your school.
Hey, come on! No, it's just finding the actual tack.
Regardless, I'm of the belief that when you build roads, you build them so everybody can get where they need to go. And I am of the belief that when you build schools, you build them so everybody can learn. And I might not drive down your street, but my taxes can pay for that, and that's okay. Just like the kid at the convenience store who's got to make change for me needs to be able to do math. So maybe he should have a good education.
Yeah, so it looks like it's closer to 24 billion. The most recent year under Steve Ducey.
The Deuce.
Well, this is a different Steve Ducey. I think he's like a governor, not a Fox News person.
All people named Ducey by statute become called the Deuce.
Or the douche, you know.
Yeah.
Here we go. Tax collections for Arizona. Very interesting. Oh my. So they only collected $5.5 billion in taxes, though. So they're $17 billion in the hole last fiscal year.
I wouldn't try to figure this out. I don't think you're going to be able to get accurate budget numbers from the internet.
No, I'm telling you. I'm looking at the St. Louis Fed here. So state tax collections, total taxes for Arizona, we're looking at $5 billion.
Well, they must get a ton from the federal government as well, right?
Yeah, but is the federal government going to be like, oh yeah, totally, you can give $7,000 to anyone who fogs a mirror and calls themselves a homeschool?
Probably not this administration, but
the next one.
I mean, if DeVos couldn't do it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, DeVos.
Oh, DeVos.
My family loves that lady.
Oh, I'm sure.
Actually, I don't know that that's true. I'm just assuming that they would based on my childhood.
Queen of Michigan.
So let's see.
7 yachts?
A lot.
Yeah. That was the last thing on the zone. Do we have anything? I'm almost done with Umbrella Academy. God, it's good this year.
I finished it.
So far.
I really, really liked it. The ending for me was a little bit. I mean, they definitely left it up.
They ended
their season.
Yeah.
I
was a little frustrated. So I'm on episode 8, which is a wedding, And it seemed a little weird to me that with the world ending at an indeterminate point in the future, that we would all get together and have 3 separate dance montages during our episode. But whatever. It was all entertaining.
It's all about love.
Yeah.
In the end.
Love.
The power of love is a curious
I also
thing.
finished Stranger Things.
Oh, I have still the very last episode to go.
This is it, right?
No, this is season 5.
No.
Are you excited for season 5?
I thought this was probably the best season since the first for me.
I'm really enjoying this season.
I really enjoyed a lot of it. My biggest issue and concern about it now is that these kids are like in their 20s now.
Yeah.
It is.
They got a time jump.
Yeah, they got to do something.
They got to skip 5 years. Will looks like he's 30.
Yeah, they got to do something about that. But
so I've been rewatching this with my kid, and it's actually super fun. We're now somewhere in the middle of season 2, and it's really enjoyable to watch this with a kid who has no understanding of what the 80s were. Like, a lot of it is like, why are those kids all out there? And it's like, because it was the 80s, and we would just all go get on our bikes and bike to the middle of the woods, and that was normal.
Right.
What else do you do?
Sorry, go ahead.
That was it.
There is a new Kristen Milotti show coming out from the people who did Palm Springs with her.
The Lonely Island folk?
Called The Resort.
Is that a sequel to Palm Springs?
No.
Oh.
No.
I actually really enjoyed, what's the show that she's on right now where she's like a prisoner?
Made for Love.
Yeah, that show, the second season of that show was better than the first season.
That's a good show.
The first season I found a little wobbly, but the second season I enjoyed because they leaned a little harder into the weird sci-fi aspects of it, I thought.
Yeah, Upload season 2 was a little thin too.
Yeah, those are kind of in the same vein for me.
They're same like show.
They're like they're sci-fi shows, but they're trying as hard as they can to not be.
Yeah,
they're because they're both like run as sitcoms almost.
Yeah, this one is a horror mystery murder disappearance series. So,
let's see. Thor opens this weekend. Is there anything else good coming?
So when I mentioned I had seen Multiverse of Madness, you both said, So did you not like it?
I thought it was okay.
I'm really mixed on it. It's middling Marvel.
It was very Sam Raimi in spots.
Yeah,
I dig Sam Raimi. It was just I guess I didn't expect like a great story or anything, but this seemed very Fast and Furious to me. It seemed that it was mostly just...
Yeah, there's a lot of moving just to move.
Yeah. Yes, just lots of action sequences thrown together with the same, okay, now we've escaped to this dimension, or we've escaped here now, and we've escaped here, and it's
like
just
a fetch quest,
It's how The Hobbit had like 8 chase scenes where they get chased basically by everything. I felt like that's what happened in this movie quite a bit.
But they're shorter, so they had to run to really get anywhere.
Yeah,
you're not trying to height shame hobbits, are you, man?
Oh no.
See, I watched Multiverse of Madness now 3 times, and I felt like that's how many times it took for me to understand all of the pieces that they put together for their story. Because the first time through, the story is there's so much going on that it feels like nonsense. It's not. It's actually pretty well constructed. It's just that it all happened so fast that it was really hard for me to follow all the things. A couple of the bits were lazy. The exposition machines that like you step in and they show you your flashback. But I think my problem with it is that I was promised the Multiverse of Madness, and really we only go to one other universe for most of our movie. Like, I wanted to go to lots of different dimensions and like have everything connected together, but it wasn't really that. Everything Everywhere All at Once had more multiverse than Multiverse of Madness, but I mean,
thought it was wonderful.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of the best movies ever made.
It really is good. You know what Tim Lord Miller are working on now? I just found out.
I gotta get going here, guys.
I do. Okay.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
Right. Sorry.
Fare thee well, Chris DeBona, and fare thee
Take it
well,
easy.
Rob Roseboom.
Hey, see ya.
And that was episode 732 of Geeks in Space. I was Rob Commander Takamaldo. We'll see you Friday. Bye.